Okay. Um, no, it's DeYoung, right?
DeYoung, yes.
Greg DeYoung. Okay,
Just, just,
perfect.
just Greg. Yep. So
Just Greg. All right. You know what? I don't think I'm actually. You can still hear me okay?
perfect.
Perfect. All right. Um, all right. So you are my own county commissioner, actually, um, here in Allendale.
Well,
Now
good.
you said you did not want to discuss GARE, correct?
Well,
Just to get.
I said it because truthfully, I don't know enough about it. Okay. And with everything going on right now, I'm just um, too busy to search that all out and to understand it the way I should. So I don't want to shoot from the hip. Okay. So I would just as soon, because I don't know enough about it yet, maybe we can reconvene at a later time and talk about that. But right now, I don't know as much about that as I should. And that's incredible. I shouldn't say it's incredibly honest because everything that I tell you today will be from my heart and it will be honest.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, just so that you know what I was looking at, there was so I was looking through the DEI office's 2019-2020 report, and they were saying that one of their goals was to get into every GARE meeting. So just so you can you kind of know where to look on that, it was like page
Sure.
16 or 17. Um, and then maybe looking into. I know there's been a lot of accusation of you guys working with Gare
Yeah.
from Ottawa Impact, and Mr. Fensky denied that. So um,
And
we're
I will deny that too. There's a lot of nonsense going on right now with this campaign. I'm not gonna beat anybody up by name or anything like that because I don't want a dark campaign. But there's a lot of nonsense talk right now, and that's part of that. Okay.
okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Now, so I did have I sent you kind of a list of the things I wanted to discuss. So the big one, I think the one, obviously the one that started all uh, this nonsense, as you said, the people running against all the county commissioners was the shutting down of Libertas. Um, and again, I should have asked Matt Fensky, Mr. Fensky, about this, and I did not. I didn't. I'm just not quick on my feet like this. So, what exactly was the situation there? How did it come about that? I mean, I know they were operating without masks per state or against state guidelines. So, what laws were you guys leaning on to kind of say, okay, you guys need to be shut down? And I believe there was a fine involved too. Is that correct?
I don't remember a fine at all, but I do remember that first of all, we had a mandate from Governor Whitmer for months and months about mask wearing, and then of course when she got closer to election time when the election cycle started, she punted that both to the health department with guidance from CDC and health department with their training and knowledge and listening to what the governor had said in months before fell in line with that. And the health department said that we would like the kids to wear masks also. Okay. And so they put that out to all the schools in Ottawa County. And some of the schools decided that, and again, we're a community, a county, we're a state were we a state of laws. And so the county health department, with their knowledge and their expertise, and they're way smarter health wise than I am, they decided to continue the governor's mask situation. And some of the schools, I think maybe it was Libertas, maybe it was more, I don't know. I didn't search anybody out. Nobody did on purpose search anybody out, but somehow it came to be where Libertas decided that they weren't going to do the mask. Okay, and so the way I understand it, some kids went home from school and said to mom and dad, "Hey, mom and dad, Some of the kids in school got to wear masks now, some of us don't, and that's how the health department got involved. So it really came from Libertas themselves, really kind of policing themselves, calling the health department and said, how come some kids do, some kids don't? And so that's how that's got started.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the health department uh, making guidelines. Uh, do these would you say that when the health department mandates something that that is a law that we have to follow that?
No, I don't think the health department made that a law. Okay, by no means. I think they were just going by continual recommendations from Lansing. Okay, the governor says, we're not forced it anymore, but the recommendation is to go ahead and do it. So we followed in Lansing's guidelines, and that's why the health department did what they did.
Okay. Now, what many have argued that what the health department was doing was unconstitutional, that they don't have, the right to legislate, that they don't have the right to, shut down a business because it's not using masks, or shut down a school because they're not using masks. Now, is there a law that gives the health department that right to shut down a school based on a guideline that they've just come up with?
Good question. And we asked that from our county attorney, um,
Mhm.
Doug Van Essen. Okay, and got a lot of guidance from Doug, and Doug told us that yes, the health department could do that. Okay, they could do that, even though some parents said, um, no, we don't believe that, and we believe it passionately enough that that we want to take the county to court, and the county got taken to court. We spent thousands of dollars of county residents, taxpayers' money to defend ourselves because we were sued by a couple of our legislators, and we were sued by um, Ottawa Impact, okay, because they had more knowledge than we did. Even though we reached out, besides Doug Van Essen, we reached out to two other Grand Rapids law firms, separate firms, and said, the health department is they're masking, and we can't fire the health department, but Ottawa Impact thought we could, so they took us to court, and a judge ruled on that, um, and they lost. Okay, they lost.
Okay. And that's still in litigation. They're taking that up to the
Oh,
next
sure.
higher
Yeah,
court. Is that? Yes. Okay.
yeah. It's just one of those things where they didn't agree with the judge, and so as long as they want to continue on, and continue to spend taxpayers' money of Ottawa County, they're going to continue to do that. But keep in mind, these folks want to be our new leaders.
Yes. Now, what you said that you had talked to your own lawyer, Van Essen, right?
Yes,
Van
Doug Van
Essen?
Essen. Yeah, not my lawyer, the county's lawyer. Okay.
County lawyer. Okay.
Yeah.
And what did he say was the law that pertains specifically to the health department being
I
able
don't
to?
remember that at this time. It's been over half a year ago. I can't comment on that because I want to be accurate. But we
Yeah.
took guidance from him, and that's what we did.
Okay. And would you would you mind looking into that for me and then like just emailing me the
Yeah,
laws at some later point? It doesn't have to be, anytime soon, but
sure.
I'm interested in that.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned a couple legislators are suing you as well.
Yeah, in the lawsuit, there's a couple of, and again, I just I don't want to be casting stones here for people. I don't. I mentioned Ottawa Impact as a group. We had two legislators that signed on to that lawsuit.
Hmm.
Okay, in regards to firing the health director, and that's really easy to research. Okay,
Okay.
so we had two of them that thought that that the county had the right, the board of commissioners had the right to fire the health department, and we don't have that right. The county administrator has that right, and the county administrator answers to us, and the employees of Ottawa County answer to the county administrator. But
Okay.
people were confused about that. No matter how many times you told them that, explain that, okay, it had a hard time to resonate with people, and therein lies the problem.
Yeah. Okay. So I had a couple questions. So I'm gonna definitely be looking into that. You know, the legislators that signed on to that, because I'm interested in that. Now, uh, do so the county commissioners, they deal with a lot of the county's funding. They Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They deal with funding toward the sheriff's office. They would deal with funding going out to something like the DEI office. Different the funding going out to the health department. Is all that correct?
We oversee all the funding for the different department heads. Keep in mind, we, um, we, we oversee the funding for the sheriff department, but Sheriff Kimker is an elected official. He runs the sheriff department. We take great pride as a board of commissioners to give guidance, but we don't micromanage. Okay,
Okay.
not alone ever with the sheriff department, but we don't with the parks department. We try not to with the health department. You know, with our clerk and register of deeds, water resource director, we don't micromanage. We just give guidance, and we approve the budget.
Okay. Now, do you see, or is there any description in your jobs of like uh, your representation of the constituents that have elected you any further than that, or would you say it just extends to right there budgets, managing money, things like that?
Oh my goodness, we don't have enough time today to talk about how I get to interact with people as a county commissioner, and I take great pride at that. The budget is one thing, but my not my main job, but my main passion is helping people with their problems. Okay, and don't get me wrong, don't pat me on the back here, because I can't fix your problem, but what I can do is very quickly is connect you with the right people, because I have 12 years of experience. I have 12 years of relationship and teamwork, and people know me. They have people that know me, they like me and trust me. So let me give you one example. Okay. One of the proudest things that just happened a month or two ago, a lady called me, and I don't know where she was from. I don't know if she's from Allendale, and it didn't make any difference to me, because yes, I live in Allendale. You live in Allendale. Okay, hopefully you can vote for me after this. But anyhow, when people call me from all over, I don't say where you're from. I say, how can I help? This lady was in tears. And she said, Greg, she said, I have 2 kids. I'm divorced. She said, my ex-husband is $12,000 behind in child support. I don't know where to turn. She said, I'm just not getting the right answers. She said, Greg, will you help me? And it just pulled at my heart. And I said, yes, I will. So I took her name and phone number. And I said, I will take care of this for you. I hung up from her. I called the county administrator. I shared her story. He called the friend of the court, shared her situation. Friend of the court called her. And within 2 hours later, she called me again. And she's got tears in her eyes, not eyes, I couldn't see her eyes, tears in her voice, and emotional. She said, Greg, thank you. Finally, I'm getting heard. I'm getting somebody to help me, and things are going to get resolved. That's just a little one small example. Well, during the height of COVID, I had many people call me. It's older people as a rule. Okay, I'm not beating up older people, but older people who called and they were confused about, Greg, where do I go my shot? Do I go here? What kind of shot do I need? Ask me a lot of questions that were way over my scope of work. I put each one of these people in direct contact with the head of our health department, Lisa. Lisa's taken a beating through this whole COVID thing, and people have said negative things about her, and it's just been a very abrasive time. But anytime someone called me about something from the health department, I would put them in contact with Lisa. She personally would call these people and say, and tell them who she was, what her status is, and help these people. And I didn't have many people call me back, but I had 2 call me back and say, Greg, Lisa called us. The head of the health department called us and said, here's how we can help you. So there's just a big part of my job is, again, if I didn't have that relationship with Lisa, if I didn't have that relationship with the county administrator, these people would have struggled for a little while until they found the right answers. And nobody needs to do that. We have 11 commissioners in Ottawa County who are committed to helping people. Yeah, we have a county meeting twice a month. We have subcommittees and finance, planning and policy, health and human services, talent and recruitment. But our biggest joy is helping people. And again, that takes some time, that takes some seasoning, that takes some relationships. But that's what I'm most proud of.
Okay. Now, um, let's see. So you do a lot of like representing of your constituents or people that call you to other departments, specifically in Ottawa County. Do you have any contact with like state legislators or state state health department, state governor's office, anything like that?
I do. I have the personal email addresses and personal phone numbers of our 4 legislators, Senator Victory, um, Jim Lilly, Luke Meerman, and Brad Slaw. I have email and phone numbers, and I do talk to them. If there's an issue, a Lansing issue, I have no problem putting people in connection with them. I do not have a direct contact with the governor's office. I couldn't tell you about the governor or give her phone number or an
Yeah.
email address. You know, I think she's trying to do the best job she can. She was here several months ago. I had the chance to meet her and her staff and introduce her at one of our parks functions. Okay, but I don't have the connectability like I do with our state representatives.
Okay. Now, I had let's see. So I think the only other thing really that I sent you was the Ottawa Impact group, um, the your opponent looking for your the one trying to take your seat, Miss Sylvia Rhodey. I think that's how you say her name.
Mhm.
And then the entire Ottawa Impact group as a whole. And now I'm not asking you to throw anybody under the bus, but Mr. Fensky had mentioned that like he is very worried about this group. He's got a lot of concern that they're going, if they get elected, that it's just uh, things are going to go off the rails pretty quickly. Would you mind sharing with me a little bit your views on like um, already you said that the group is a little misguided at the very least, but please share
Yeah,
with
you know
me.
what? I just, again, not to beat anybody up, I think the group as a whole are very, very passionate. Um, I feel bad. I feel real bad because they came to a lot of our meetings, okay, with passion, and the passion overflowed to a lot of things that I'm not real proud of as an Ottawa County resident. Um, language was harsh. People's voices were just demanding. People slamming their fist on the countertop. We had commissioners last year during the height of the mass thing. We had commissioners who were threatened to have their houses burned down. I had a lady call me. She said, "Greg, I want you to know I'm with Ottawa Impact." And she said, "If you vote for mass, Greg, I hope you burn in hell." That's what she said. You hope you burn in hell.
Mhm.
And these folks also again take their passion to our school board meetings. And I don't mind passion, and I don't mind listening to people at all. I think everybody should have a voice, okay? But I'm completely different than Ottawa Impact. I believe in teamwork. I believe in respect and working together. And we may have to agree not to agree, okay? But I want to work with people, okay? And to listen to people. And people beat me up last year real bad on Facebook's. Sometimes it's a wonderful thing. It's a bad thing sometimes. I took a stance on August 24 on my Facebook page last year that I think the mask situation, the masking is really should be between the parents and their physician. I don't think government should have been in the mask situation. So I was the first, maybe the only guy to take a stance on masks. I also took the stance on a week later after the mask thing came up from Ottawa County. The health department was going to tell us what our masks were going to be made of and look like. I fought back on that. I took it as a personal battle. So you never seen the county come out and saying, here's what your mask is going to look like. I build relationships with our board of commissioners, and we took the very first step. We were the first county in the state of Michigan out of 83 counties to do a resolution opposing the federal vaccine mandate. And don't get me wrong, I believe in the vaccine. Oh, Greg got both of his vaccines in his booster, and I don't care who knows about it. And it's good for me, okay? But I think vaccines are a personal choice, and the vaccines should not be forced on anybody by the federal government. So we took a stance on that. But see, all the good things that we're doing there, you know, the impact people have seemed to forgot about that. And they say, Greg, I've had a lot of people lately, not a lot, maybe a half a dozen, 7, 8. What have you done, Greg, the last 2 years to protect our kids? Well, we have 20 vibrant programs at the Ottawa County Health Department that help children, number one. The Miles of Smiles things is one, food programs are another. But the most important thing to me is, and when you started our conversation about funding, we fund the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department, okay? Mm-hmm. All their money flows to the Board of Commissioners. We have some of the best trained men and women in all of Michigan in the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department. Every single one of our school systems has a school resource officer in their schools. Think about this. I've been a commissioner for 12 years. We have got enough funding for these officers to make sure that your son, your daughter, your grandchild, my grandchildren come home safe every single day. I am so proud of that. I'm bubbling. I'm so proud of that. God help us that we never have an accident in our school systems, but we fund the sheriff department to make sure that our children are safe. Nobody talks about that. Ottawa Impact doesn't talk about that. The most important thing to me is our children. The mask was a hard time for all of us, okay? I wish it wasn't there, but we do so many good things at the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners, and people forget about all that. They forget that, yeah, we're last year again, we were named the healthiest county in the state of Michigan. They forget that out of 83 counties, we're the sixth lowest in taxes that the county pays. There's just so many things to be proud of here in Ottawa County. And I get sometimes frustrated when people always constantly look for the worst. Can you imagine what our community would look like if people would every day get out of bed and say, today, I'm going to make a difference in somebody's life. We can no longer have this hostility from Ottawa Impact. They're good people. They're good. I'm not beating them up, but they're angry people. And you can't get things done when you're mad. Not one person in 2 years' time, not one person has called me and said, Greg, can we sit down and have a cup of coffee? I'm an Ottawa Impact guy. You're a commissioner. We don't like what's going on right now in Ottawa County. Can we sit and talk, just you and I? Take a biblical perspective and sitting down and looking at each other and talking. Hasn't happened in 2 years. Hasn't happened. So it's frustrating a little bit. Again, they're good people. They mean well. I just march to the beat of a different drum. I'm all about helping people, bringing people together, and again, doing things with respect. I don't feel that personally from Ottawa Impact.
Okay. And I haven't talked to any of them, so I can't speak to any of it. I'm just trying to figure out, who I'm voting for this turnaround, and so I appreciate you did that very gracefully. Actually, that was very good. Now I want to take you back a little bit. So you mentioned that every school in our county has a resource officer.
No, every school system.
Every school system. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Grand Haven, West Ottawa, Zeeland, Hudsonville, Jenison. They all have men and women, men or women, but sometimes a combination of both. School resource officers in all of our school systems.
Okay, that's incredible. So is that like somebody that's armed, ready to respond to an active shooter situation?
Absolutely, they're very well trained, and you mentioned you're from Allendale here. We have got, I'm close to a lot of the guys and girls that are school resource officers. I'm real close to Johnny Ortman. This is, everybody loves John Ortman. He's in the schools, and you say, Greg, well, how do you know this? You're an older guy. You ain't got any kids. Well, my campaign team is young kids. I've got young kids from Allendale High School seniors that just graduated a few weeks ago, and we're talking around the table. We're mailing envelopes and doing stuff like that. And they tell me about Johnny Ortman. Building relationship with kids that know to come to the school resource officer if they hear something. They have that relationship, and then they come to the officer and say, you know that so this and this is happening, that's how we solve problems here in Ottawa County. We have tremendous school resource officers that are every day making a difference in our kids' lives here in Ottawa County.
That's awesome. That's something that I really like to hear out of, especially with so many shootings that have been happening lately. I think it's just crazy that people aren't talking about making schools more secure, and so yeah, that's awesome that we secure our schools. Um, Now, I don't think you would have any jurisdiction here, but maybe you have the answer to my question. Does Ottawa County allow their teachers to carry it all?
To the best of my knowledge, no. Okay, but I'm not an expert. If someone has a concealed carry permit and they're bringing it in their, strapped to their ankle or in their purse or something, that I don't know about that. Okay, and that's a really good question. Um, but I don't have a good answer for that, but our school resource officers are trained for this situation.
Okay.
I've talked to some of these men and women in Ottawa County, and Ottawa County marches to the beat of a different drum. If there's a situation, they're coming. They're coming. Okay, it won't be a thing like in Texas where it takes 74 minutes or whatever to get
Yeah.
our men and women there. They're highly trained for this. They train often. They are just equipped, and they're ready to go. And God help us. I hope we never have to have that. But
Oh,
you
yeah,
could
you too.
you can be really proud. And again, one thing I want to encourage. I don't know who you share this with, but we spend a lot of time. It seems like putting people down, putting groups down, talking negative about everything today. I want to encourage anybody you share this message with to thank an officer once in a while.
Mhm.
Shake their hand, buy them a cup of coffee, say thanks for the job you're doing, because the world's upside down right now. Everybody is mad about something. And I want people to know that just by saying a kind word or doing a deed or buying a cup of coffee makes a difference in somebody's life. If every one of us would do that every day, to get out of bed and say, today, I'm going to make a difference in somebody's life, maybe we can turn society around again, because right now, everybody's mad about something.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear that. And yeah, I've seen a lot of the anger, and yeah, those are very wise words. Um, let's see. I don't know that I really have anything else that I wanted to talk about. Oh, wait, I did have one more thing. Um, so uh, I know it's there, but I'm trying to
I
recall
know,
it.
I know, I know what you're going to ask me. You've heard all the scuttle about the endorsement for right to life. You're going to ask me about that, weren't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please do.
And
Because
and
right to life, that wasn't it, but that is something that I've
I
heard
got a
about.
couple. I got a couple other things to talk about, and you can filter this out and do with what you want. I just please be real cautious. Just not to pick and choose too much. But
Yeah, I
we
try
have
and I try and be as fair as I can.
we have 11 commissioners. They're older guys. They're faith-driven guys. Um, all of us believe. All of us believe in the sanctity of life. Okay. Um,
Mhm.
for whatever reason, my first time, this is my seventh time running. Every single year I've gotten endorsed by Right to Life, okay, which is important to me. I believe in Right to Life. I support Right to Life. Um, but we didn't get it to this year. And so I was able that last week to reach out to the president of Right to Life, Barbara Listing. and by email, and she called me back, and I shared my heart with her. I shared my passion. I shared my story, and I asked her. I said, Barbara, I said, why did all the Ottawa Impact people get an interview, an endorsement? We never got an interview or any endorsement. And I think she was surprised. And she gave me her word, Greg, I'll look into it. So after the conversation was about over with, I said to her, Barbara, I said, now that you know my heart, could you give me an endorsement? And she says, Greg, I really, really can't. She said, but she said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to work a little harder, and I will look into why you didn't get an endorsement from Right to Life. So I took her at her word. So I'm hoping to hear back from her that. And the conversation was good by her telling me, Greg, you just need to work a little harder. I felt encouraged by that. And so we'll see where that goes. But another thing, if I could talk to you about just real briefly, is
Absolutely.
we've had some people talk about critical race theory. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had several people ask me, well, I'm knocking on doors about that. Critical race theory is an initiative through Lansing, to the Michigan Department of Education. Ottawa County has nothing to do. The Ottawa County Board of Commissioners has nothing to do with critical race theory. So I'd like to put that rumor to bed also, okay, that where we stand on that. That's a Lansing initiative, not a Board of Commissioners, and we won't address that. So
So you're saying that Lansing is trying to push through the Department of Education
I don't
critical
know.
race theory?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if critical race gets talked about or comes out of anything, it would come out of Lansing. It will not come out of your Board of Commissioners.
Okay. Well, it comes out of Grand Valley all over the place. I can attest to that.
Yeah,
I've taken their classes. I'm actually training to be a teacher right now, um, and I've taken a lot of their classes, and they've got they're pushing their teachers on it. My
yeah.
believe you me, but
Well,
uh,
we're not here in Allendale. We're not here in Ottawa County, and I can't speak for the school board, but I get to some of the school board meetings because there's so many other things to do as a commissioner. You don't just go to
yeah,
board meetings twice a month. You know, there's township board meetings to go to. There's school board meetings. You show up at the Lions Club. You show up at Rotary. You know, you show up at ribbon cuttings. I take great pride as this year's 4 years ago, I gave leadership to I don't know how long you lived in Allendale, but 4 years ago, we had the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Parade.
mhm,
Myself and Adam Ellenboss gave leadership to that. And, you know, we always have, when you sit down and think about, you think about one of those greatest days in your life, you know, maybe for me, you know, when you get married, when your children are born, when your kids get married. I have two sons that graduated from Grand Valley. Those were great days. But the day that Allendale had the first ever Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Parade, best day ever for me. Best day ever. You've never seen so much emotions and crying and hugging and stuff, and people saying, Greg, why is your community doing this? And I said, it's because of who we are. You know, it's who we are. Allendale cares about people. And
mhm.
now this year, on Monday, we're going to have, I'm not giving leadership to this Monday, but I have worked with the township board. I have worked with the chamber. We're having our grand marshals be all of our healthcare workers in West Michigan who want to show up, the people who went through COVID, and we all did something, we all gave something in COVID, but our healthcare workers worked way above and beyond the call of duty. I had a dear friend go through COVID. He was in the hospital for 96 days, and he had one nurse in particular that took care of him. One night, a friend of mine asked, how long is your shift? She said, I've been here for 12 hours. She said, I have no idea when I'm going home, but I'm going to stay here and take care of this young man tonight. So I'm just, like I said, I'm not giving leadership to it. I just planted the seed, which I'm very proud of too. So our healthcare workers are going to show up at 10 o'clock. There's going to be a big banner. They're going to follow a police car, and the residents of Allendale and the surrounding areas are going to have a chance to stand up and clap and say, thank you for what you did for West Michigan and saving as many people as you have. So there's so much more to being a commissioner than what people think. I mean, I can spend 25, 30 hours a week on this thing, solving problems, going to meetings, just things, Friday we had strategic planning for the whole day, where we planned for all of next year. So it's just more than two meetings a month. And again, I'm passionate about it. I really am. It's in my heart. And again, it gives me a great opportunity to help people. That is the bottom line for me.
Okay, very good. Now, okay, so I did have one thing, Mrs. Afric, our diversity, equity, and inclusions director. Um, Now, she is also on the department or on the board of education here at Ottawa County. Is that correct?
I think she may be part of. Hang on a minute. I'm thinking what it is. It's called Ottawa County ISD.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
it.
I think she's part of that, but I don't know what role she plays in that at all. Okay.
Okay. Now,
Um,
would I would love to talk to her um, about what she's doing, some of the goals that the diversity, equity, and inclusions office has, because uh, I have a lot of concern, that these offices are very often places where leftists will get in, they'll start inserting, some of the base things. And I've heard that we've, been pushing an implicit bias training. Have you taken the implicit bias training from the DEI office?
I haven't, but I know Robin Affleck personally. I know this young lady. I know her heart is in this thing to help our community, to make sure that everybody feels welcome and
Mhm.
everybody has a place at the table. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not again here to cast any stones, but I just are Ottawa Impact wants changes in DEI. They want. I was at their vetting meeting at Lighthouse Church, and they openly said that they want the Office of DEI gone, and it's really troubling. Okay, it's troubling to um, our manufacturers here in West Michigan. It's really troubling to our higher educational places like Hope and Grand Valley. It's troubling to our commercial businesses. It's troubling to our school systems. It's troubling to our farm community. We need to come together. There's a place for everybody here in Ottawa County. As for those of us of faith, as we grew up in Sunday school, we all sang the song, red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in his sight. People have forgotten about that. People, this cannot stay a cookie cutter Dutch community. We have so many good, valuable people here. There's room for everybody in our community, no matter what your race is, what your gender is, whatever. And if we let other group get in here and think we're going to get rid of DEI and people that aren't just like you and I have no place here is wrong. It's really wrong. There's a place at the table for everybody. Ottawa County is where you belong. And as long as I'm in this office, I'm going to fight and scratch like crazy to make sure everybody here feels welcome.
Okay. Now, are you implying that there were so I'm just having trouble reconciling. So, Ottawa County functioned very, very well, I'm assuming, before the DEI office.
No, that's not
And-
that's not true. There's a lot of people that have been no. There's been a lot of people that have been disrespectful in the past. Let me tell you one quick story for an example. Professor at Hope College. He happens to be Latino. Okay, Saturday morning he goes to the hardware store. Okay, and it's in Holland. I'm not going to mention the store, but he goes to the hardware store. It's more of a little mom and pop hardware store. Wasn't one of our big chain stores. And he's got his work clothes on. He's working in the garden, doing his flowers and stuff like that. And he's Latino. He's a professor at Hope College. As he was checking out, the clerk said to him, "What farm are you working on? What farm are you working on?" She made the association because he had old clothes on and he was dirty and sand underneath his fingernails that he happened to be a migrant worker.
okay.
There's a lady.
Now,
Okay,
that 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 so when you share that with me, um, that just seems like he's making a big deal out of something that shouldn't really be a big deal.
It should be a big deal. And you're saying that because you're not Latino. Okay. If you're Latino
I
and someone
mean,
thinks just because you got your old clothes on that you're a migrant worker, it's wrong.
well, I've been in a blue shirt at Walmart and been asked, where's this thing? And I don't get offended because I'm not a Walmart worker. That seems more of like a personal thing that maybe you should be less offended at what people,
Hey,
at
Thomas,
people doing their job.
I agree. There's got to be a balance there. But
Yeah.
but we get there's a black lady. She's got the hair salon. She's in
Mhm.
first part of August. She's getting her hair done, and the salon was real busy. And she's talking to other ladies, and she mentioned, she said, she's the principal of a school in Holland public school systems. She mentions that we got to get busy because next week we got to start getting school ready. Okay. And some other lady sit next to her and she says to her, "Are you on the cleaning crew?"
Okay.
Those things we all got to do a better job to make sure that there's a balance there where you're right. You don't take it too sensitive, but just because someone's black, do you think that they're a cleaner at the school system? So we all need to do a better job of respecting each other. We all need to do a better job of building relationships. Um, Commissioner Frank Garcia, when Frank first decided to run for office, him and I met for a cup of coffee. He told me his whole story about he went to the University of Michigan. The day he went to college, he said, Greg, he said, I still had dirt underneath my fingernails from working in the field. He graduated.
Oh.
Yeah, he graduated and he became a principal, superintendent at Holland Public Schools. And I built a relationship with Frank. I built a relationship with his daughter, Daniela Garcia. If we want to change West Michigan, if we want to change the state of Michigan and change this nation, we need to all reach out, okay, and build a relationship with somebody that doesn't look like you and I, okay, whether they're white, black, whether they're straight or gay, there's a place for all of us here in Ottawa County.
Okay. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm not necessarily convinced that a government office is going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like we can dump money into it, but that lady, that assumed that the Hope College professor was a migrant worker. Like, are we going to change her mind through some kind of training? Like,
It's
um,
it's no,
and
it's a generational thing. And by the way, keep in mind, Robin's first 3 years of working for Ottawa County were funded mainly by West Michigan manufacturing. Some of
yeah,
our big
yeah,
manufacturers came together and says our employees don't feel welcome here in Ottawa County. There's a stigma out there. So by giving the county money to help with this, Robin has worked with some of these bigger groups and educated them on how to act and what to say. And even in Ottawa County, for our hiring purposes, we used to look at our resumes and stuff with people's name on it. This is how biased somebody can be. If you see the wrong name on a job application, some people will pass over your name. So
mhm,
we've had a policy. We black out the person's name. And we interview the person. We don't interview the name. Okay, so just little things like that. But I'll tell you, Thomas, it's a generational thing. It's going to take us a long time, I think, to make sure that we are all treated equally. Okay, some of us will work harder than others. Some will work smarter than others. But we gotta try to at least give the opportunity. Okay, and some people aren't driven. Maybe I'm driven like crazy, but some people aren't driven. And I understand that. Um, but again, my hope, my prayer is that there's a place for everybody here in Ottawa County.
okay.
Okay.
Now I don't know if you would have the ability to give this to me, but I would like to see some of the trainings that we use for our county officials, and like the implicit bias training. I know is a big one that the entire sheriff's office went through, and um, just some of the other diversity
Well,
trainings.
and that's a really good question, Thomas. What I'd like you to do is that when you do reach out to Robin, say, "Hey, Robin, I talked to Greg, and he said you're the person to ask about where I can get this from, and she's probably got it or something that she could just email right to you." Okay, so
Okay.
I want you to get the right answers, not just a vague answer. Okay, but when you talk to Rob and ask her to send you some stuff, and she'd be very, very helpful. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Well, I think let's see. Unless you have anything else that you'd like to say or discuss.
No, I think we covered a lot of ground today. I think that hopefully you feel my passion and
Mhm.
what I'm most comfortable with. And again, the bottom line is that I'm passionate about the county. I'm passionate about helping people. There's way more to the job than what most people believe. Um, I think a job is important enough that I think there should be some steps to this job because, again, for the most part, um, a lot of the Ottawa Impact people have never even been on a committee. Okay, they just, and this is when we run a county that's 1,100 people on a budget this large. It takes some time. And don't get me wrong, I started out. I started out in the county as a volunteer. I started out as in the Ag Preservation Committee, and I think that my encouragement would be um, that everybody starts out someplace on a committee and they grow to this. But you can't throw in 8 or 9 new people into a county government without some type of experience, whether it's volunteering or whatever. And again, I don't know these people's backgrounds, and I don't know what their training is, and maybe I'm completely wrong on that. I'm not saying that, but this is I'm very proud of the county. I'm very proud of the work we're doing. Okay, and I think we're making a difference. So
Okay.
okay,
Well, thank you so much, Greg, for your time. And
no problem.
I may be reaching out to you again at some point before the election for another conversation. I've really enjoyed talking to you. So,
No problem.
thank
And
you.
if you decide you want a campaign sign, send me an email. Okay.
Okay, I definitely will.
All
Thank
right,
you so
Thomas.
much.
Thank you. If you got anything, give me a holler. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You bet. Take care.
Bye.